webcast for October. I'm even rocking the pink in honor of Breast Cancer Survivor Month. Thank you for joining us around the world today, whether it's in the evening, if you're attending live in Europe, or maybe, let's see, tomorrow, if you're joining us from Asia. It's about lunchtime for us here in the Eastern Time Zone in the Atlanta metro area. And some of you are maybe having your coffee and maybe a little breakfast snack on the Pacific Coast. So I'm Doug Kennedy with Kennedy Training Network. We welcome you to this month's topic, which is targeting hotel spa reservation sales training. As those of you who have joined us for the series know, we've covered many different sessions for hotel room reservation sales training or in the villa and home rental market and those topics. We do alternate topics every month. So we go, in fact, next month, we're going to be doing a sales topic for group and event sales or any type of sales directly to people, such as selling to homeowners on virtual presentations. And then we rotate back to a general sales topic in December on selling the overall experience by the value pyramid sales model that we use. But today is something special. Today is a topic just for spa reservations. Spa reservations are usually, of course, taken at the spa reception desk. Very occasionally it is done at a reservation call center. Shout out to you, Old Edwards Inn. I think you take all your spa calls for your properties. Some of you do take them in a reservations environment, but most of you are taking it at the spa front desk. So it's a very special, unique role. Now, several times a year, we have in our on-site, traditional on-site training, we have at least several times a year, we have the spa staff attend. Shout out to you at Conrad Punta de Mita. I know you always send your spa team when I'm there providing the on-site training. And Riverstone Resort, clients like you actually have us do a separate training class just for the spa team, as I did for you in March. And I hope to see you again here for the second session of the year in October. So this is really all about the content that we take and the experiences that I've had training the spa teams, either in person as part of the room reservations training or in the separate environment again, such as Riverstone and a few others. So thank you, as always, to our sponsors, Track, a TravelNet solution, which is a fantastic property management system for hotels, resorts, condo hotels, and vacation home villa agencies that rent out those. They have the Track Pulse CRM, which is a fantastic tool for taking leads that come in by email and phone, turning them into proactive outbounding to follow up. Travel Outlook, the premier hotel call center, which we're proud to have had as a client since 2012. The only call center fully certified by Kennedy Training Network, meaning that we onboard their training, all of their new staff with the very first day. They actually meet me in person and they go through a 4-step process. And then we actually call score. We listen to hundreds of calls every month, score their calls to make sure they meet our KTN standards. So thank you for your generous sponsorship, which helps us get the word out. Many of you found us on the publications that they give us the funding to promote on. So if you're joining us for the first time, you know we always do shout outs for a couple of reasons. For one, it gives us an extra minute or two while we're waiting for everyone else, those of you who are going to join us live. It also helps me prepare. So Julia, our marketing coordinator, and we always go through the list about 30 minutes before start time here, and it helps me while I'm sitting in our studio looking at a tiny webcam with a circle in it. Imagine all of the smiling faces that are behind that camera. So shout outs today. Wow, we have a lot of clients. Old Edwards Inn, Sean and team, thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed your training with Kate Martin last month. We have Beaver Run Resort, Jim Holiday and team. Thank you for joining us. I hope this brings value. It was wonderful seeing you in January. Love to come back out. Riverstone, I already mentioned. Hazelton, Toronto, the top hotel in all of Toronto, possibly all of Canada. Thank you, Grace. And we also have Lana joining us and a couple of others. We appreciate you as well. The Biltmore, Nick, my guy, he always joins me for these webcasts, and I did ask him personally to send this info to the spa team. So I think that resulted in you, Lisa, joining us. We have both Conrad Tulum and Conrad Punta de Mita, some of the most beautiful hotels in all of Mexico. Now, our new joiners for today, we have a lot, and we have a lot all around the world, actually. Citizen M. Joost from the Netherlands, thank you. The Daniel Webster Inn, what a beautiful historic property. I would love to ever have a chance to provide training for you. Kim, thank you for joining us. Olympic Spa in the Italian Alps. Got close to there on my vacation this summer. We drove through Verona, Italy on the way to Trieste, but we didn't take that route north to the Alps. Thank you, Marta, for joining us. Now let's shift to the Caribbean. We have the Half Moon, Bridget from Half Moon Inn Resort. The Windjammer Landing. You know, I was there doing training 2 different times. The last time was probably about 2018, but I would love to come back, Gail, for some on-site training. Sandals, coffee. I think you're the spa trainer for the whole company. Wow, impressive. I did training for Sandals in the early 2000s, and if you see anything you like, we'd love to do some more for you. Golden Nugget, Joni. Not sure which one you're with. Coincidentally, I was just in Las Vegas earlier this week speaking at a conference, and we were going to make it down to downtown to Fremont Street area and see the lovely Golden Nugget there, but I did get free tickets to see the Wizard of Oz at the Sphere, so I had to ditch those plans. But lovely hotel, one of the premier historical properties. Absolute Future, Andres from Austria. We've noticed you've been with us a couple of times now. We hope it brings value. And finally, another St. Lucia. Contact Shay from the amazing Ladera. Wouldn't I love to train your team? I've been to St. Lucia a few times. It's definitely one of the most beautiful tropical islands here in North America. Shout outs are done. Let's get down to it. Let's get into hotel spa reservation sales training. Now, I always like to cover in our training webcast, as well as our training classes that we teach on site or our remote private webcam training. I like to start out with the why. We're going to talk about the whys first, then we're going to get into the whats. So my why question today is, why does your spa or your wellness center exist? Now, I love to ask this question at the start of my classes, and a lot of times I get answers like this. We exist to help our guests unwind and relax because it's a stressful world out there. Yes. Well, what else though? I keep prodding them, please dig deeper. A lot of people say, well, it's our goal every day is to improve mental and physical wellness in this world. Yes. But let's dig deeper. I know, Doug, provide a place of respite from this crazy world that we all live in. Yes. But what is the real reason your spa exists anywhere around the world? To make money. Now, the thing is, we make money by helping guests unwind, improving their mental and physical wellness, and to provide a place of respite. So it is a win-win. But let's face the reality, ladies and gentlemen, we have to make money as a business. Do you think the owners of your spa, the corporation, or the individuals would keep the lights on, keep the doors open if they didn't make a profit? I mean, come on, it is capitalism. Would you come to work if you didn't make a paycheck? I don't think so. As much as you love your boss, right? I mean, maybe you love your boss so much you will come to work anyway. Yeah, if you're sitting with them right now, you better say yes. But I'm pretty sure your boss wouldn't come to work if they didn't get paid. So we have to make money. And the good news is when we make money, everybody wins. We'll come back to that in just a moment. But revenue is the currency that powers your business, okay? And you, if you're working at the reception desk at a spa, you work at the power plant, okay? Hopefully you can see this picture. It's actually an AI generated image. I said, give me a factory that makes money. So yeah, that's actually greenback dollars there, or stacks, I guess, of also coins in the background. So currency powers business. Now, I want to talk particularly today about why phone calls, and we are going to talk in the world of phone calls today, but increasingly it's also email inquiries. Some of you may have chat. You may have chat to your hotel or resort, and sometimes that may also get to the spa. But why are inquiries, and I'm going to say again calls today, why are they so important to the overall operation of your hotel or resort? Because most of you are part of a resort or hotel spa today if you're joining us. Many guests in today's world start their travel planning by shopping for the best spa experiences. If you follow publications, in fact, all the ones that I write for, some of you may have found us on those publications: Hotel News Resource, Hotel Online, Hospitality Net. They increasingly have articles about agentic search from large language models, also known as AI. People are start by finding the destination before they find the hotel. So they may in fact look, or also social media, Instagram posts about your spa. Before they find your way to the hotel connected to your spa, they may start out by shopping for your spa experience. Therefore, the first call or email may be for the entire visit, may be in fact fielded by the spa front desk rather than room reservations. So if you're one of our directors of sales, directors of marketing, revenue people joining us today, I hope that we help raise the awareness that the spa front desk does not just help spa revenues, it is a total hotel resource. Now, therefore, positive first impressions not only impact spa sales, but also total revenue, total guest spend, including RevPAR for hotels. Now, plus, I like this guy, but wait, there's more. Spa team are a soft marketing opportunity for guests who are staying nearby at other hotels because maybe they don't have a spa, or maybe they have a spa that's not as nice as your spa. So they may be staying over there and they come to visit us this trip for our spa. But next time, if we have a good experience, they're going to come back. Okay. So a positive first impression sets up an overall positive spa experience, similar to what we teach in front desk hospitality. You know, if they're warmly welcomed on the phone, you have a nice, genuine, authentic conversation. They arrive at the spa reception desk and you give them a nice greeting. The whole spa experience will be received in a much better way. And if something bad happens later, maybe the room's a little too cold, or the towel is not as soft, or the plunge pool is a little too warm or cold, they will be a lot more forgiving if they've had a positive first impression. So your team is very, very important. Okay. Now let's go back to what I touched on earlier. In the wellness part of the hospitality industry in particular, successful selling, upselling, cross-selling, and overall selling benefits all parties. Okay. First of all, guests are going to have a more enriching experience because we work at the best spa in town, right? Don't you think so? Okay. Well, that's where you applied. That's where you got hired. That's where you work. I hope so. So guests are going to have a more enriching experience, and therapists are going to have more bookings. So when we convert inquiry into a booking, and as we're going to discuss in this webcast today, upsell, additional services and treatments, cross-sell, upsell, very similar in this context. They're going to have more fun. Okay. A lot of people just call up and say, hi, I want to book the whatever your 60-minute, 55-minute, 50-minute massage special is, your signature massage. But if we engage in a conversation, we can get them to add in additional treatments and therapies specific to you. They are going to have more fun. And then your therapists are going to have more bookings. Okay. And best of all, the spa makes money. A win, win, win. Win for the guest, win for the therapist, and win for the business owners. Can you imagine the expenses involved in running your spa? Let's think about the mortgage on the building. Let's think about the cleaning that's involved. Let's think about the power bills to keep it all, everything at temperature. Let's talk about all of the equipment and the supplies. It's a lot of money. Okay. Now, How does a spa measure its success as a business? I see some of my revenue management friends, have moved up that ladder and are now director of marketing. Congratulations. You know who you are. You know, in the hotel business, we look at RevPAR, revenue per available room, or we look at total guest spend, total RevPAR. There's different revenue per customer. They have different names for that. But a spa is a little bit different because for several reasons that I'm going to cover, it's hard to put one metric, but I'm going to give you one that maybe we haven't thought of yet. So traditional ways spa measure their success, average treatment rate. Okay, that's interesting. You take all of the treatments you did divided by the total revenue from all the treatments divided by the number of treatments, and you would have the average treatment rate. But that's not a really good indicator because some treatments and therapies cost more hard costs to deliver. So that doesn't really tell us how we're doing on profit. Treatment room utilization, true. It's a cute acronym, but does that really tell us anything? How often our treatment rooms are booked? Once again, you know, a treatment might be booked for a massage or a facial or increasingly a skin abrasion or different high-end treatments that are being offered at the wellness centers on here today. So the revenue varies greatly according to what the actual treatment or therapy is. Therapist utilization percentage. Many of you have on-call therapists. It's a hard number to put our fingers around. Many of you have your staff plus contractors. Revenue per available treatment hour, RevPAT. Again, these are all cute metrics. I'm sure if you put them all together collectively, they give you a good look-see at your business's productivity. But I'm going to share with you what I think is the most important metric when you want to measure how your front desk spa reservations team is doing at securing bookings and upselling and cross-selling, okay? And that would be the most important metric that you want everybody to focus on when they pick up a call, or I should say pick up a call because you're probably wearing earbuds and headsets, or they respond to an inquiry email. The number I want everyone to think about is revenue per spa guest visit, because that reminds you every time how much revenue is at stake. Okay, now we train some of the world's most luxurious hotels. I have seen plenty of hotels where the spa tab could be as high of a revenue producer as that night's room revenue, or very often significantly higher. So let me click these up here. So if you want to take a screenshot of this, a screen share, screen capture, revenue per spa guest visit would be the revenue divided by the number of spa guests visits is your revenue per spa visit. So it's your total revenue for the time period, whether you're looking at a day, a month, probably you want to look at a month, a quarter, or a whole year, because business changes by day of week. We're probably busier more on the weekends. We're probably busier more in season versus out of season, of course. So really, the best way that I like to do is look at the whole year. Total revenue for the year divided by the total number of spa guest visits. Okay, and that's going to tell you revenue per spa guest opportunity. That is the number we want people to think about when they answer a call or return an email. Okay, so don't be an order taker, be an order maker. All right, and so let's look closer now at, with keeping in mind revenue per spa guest opportunity. And I hope after this class, after this webcast today, you actually calculate that number, talk about it in meetings, and you consider posting it in a place that people can see it and be aware of it every single day. Because then when the phone rings, okay, we will always remember why phone calls are so important. Now, most spa bookings today still involve a phone call. Increasingly, we see on the hotel side, we see an increased share every year of online bookings, either through a third party or brand.com. If you're part of Conrad, for example, is part of Hilton, or your own website if you're Riverstone. However, even in room reservations, if you join me for those classes, we know a lot of people call prior to making that online reservation. So phone calls are hugely important for room reservations. But in spa, if I could see you all raise your hand, and I wish I could, but I'm gonna guess that almost everybody on this webcast, if not everybody on this webcast, gets more bookings through phone calls than online. Now, in preparing for today, I did look at a lot of you who had signed up early. I went to your websites. I see many of you have online booking tools, for example, the Conrads, for example, Riverstone. I can't remember Biltmore, I believe you did as well. And then you have the ability for people to book. Now, even if you're getting a lot of bookings, I will pretty much bet you those people call either prior to making that reservation or after they made it, okay? Because people have a lot more questions. They have a lot more requests when they're booking a spa appointment. And if they're not calling you for an online booking, I hope, managers, take note of this. I hope when someone books a spa appointment online that you reach out proactively. This is where a system like Track Hospitality Software or the other systems of CRMs really help you to track, to have your task list. If not, use Excel, get in the game, follow up with people. Mr. Kennedy, Mrs. Kennedy, we see you made your reservation. My name is Douglas from right here on site at the spa team. We wanted to reach out and welcome you and give you a few suggestions for your visit. And then if you leave a nice voicemail, they call you back. If they don't call you back, they get a really nice first impression, okay? So a lot of people call to book. Some of you do not have online reservations yet. And so everybody calls to book. But even those who book online still call prior to booking. And if they're not calling you, you should be calling them. All right. So if the guest has not yet booked when they make their initial call to us, this is a chance to ensure they book with us and not somewhere else. Okay, now it could be an in-house guest and you might be in a remote area where you have a captive audience, okay? But it also could be an in-house guest that, you know, they know about that little day spa around the corner, or they're thinking about, hey sis, doing a girls trip here. Should we go to the spa? Or, you know, should we do that excursion or that other activity? Should we do the horseback riding on the beach or the zip lining? Or should we do the historic city tour? Or should we go for that hike? There's other opportunities they could get. And again, there could be bookings somewhere else. So when somebody calls and they haven't booked, we want to turn what appear to be quick questions into confirmed bookings. All right. Now, this is a really key point. A lot of people that call, they don't say, hi, I'm thinking about booking a spa appointment. They just say, hi, I just have a quick question. The couples massage, is it in the same room? Okay. And can we get, I'm going to just go on a wild limb here. My husband prefers a female therapist. I really don't care. Is that going to be okay? So, you know, there's a lot of different questions that people could have that appears to be a quick question, that if we answer that question and say, now that I've answered your question, can I go ahead and check the appointment availability for you? Can I tell you a little bit about our options? So whenever they have a quick question, again, this comes through email as well. So if they have, whether or not they have booked or not, either way, even if they have booked, it's an opportunity for those positive first impressions. It's a chance to upsell and cross-sell, and it's also a chance to proactively volunteer helpful details in advance of their visit. Okay, so that is the why part. In the first 15 minutes together today, 15, 20 minutes, let's now, having explored the whys of why this topic is important, from here on today, we're going to look at the what's. Well, this is the how-to part as we shift gears a little bit here today. So the what's. The most important what that we do at the spa reception desk whether we're taking the call, responding to an email, or in person, is to convey that vibe of hospitality when we communicate with our guests, whether it's on the phone, whether it's in writing, and really, truthfully, as well, whether it's in person. If you've been with me before in our hospitality training, we love to talk about the vibe of hospitality. The word hospitality, the root word is hospes, which means both, it has a diametric meaning. It means most guest, the giver, and host, the receiver. It is a mutual shared feeling that you get right here in your heart when you have an authentic hospitality connection. Okay, so get that vibe flowing. That is the most important thing that we do. Now, many of you today are familiar with this logo and the stars related to this logo. Okay, actually, probably everyone. A lot of you are five-star hotels. Okay, many of you are Forbes four-star hotels or higher. Let's see, looking at our list. Yeah, Ladera, I think you carry the five. Um, Certainly, Old Edwards, I believe, is Forbes rated. Hazelton, five-star. Conrad's, I believe you're both four-star. So you know about the Forbes travel guide criteria for the spa. Now, if you look at their list, I don't know, 25, 30 items off the top of my head, a good portion of those have to do with the physical presence of the spa itself. And then if we look specifically, which I've done here for the first part of this, which is the telephone hospitality and the written correspondence, we're going to just blow right way beyond what Forbes asks. You may think Forbes is hard, but really I'm going to remind you that really when you break it down, Forbes is actually not that hard. And I'm going to ask you to reach even higher. Okay. So Forbes wants to make sure the telephone conversation is calm and clear. Yeah, don't be stressed when the answer. Thank you for calling Small for this. Is not going to help you. Hold on. We have to make sure that we ask permission before we place them on hold. We have to make sure that we don't put them on hold longer than 30 seconds without offering a callback. Okay. So just be calm. Take a deep breath before you answer. You want to be like a little duck swimming across the lake. You ever seen a duck float across the lake? They're just floating right along effortlessly. Below that water, their little feet are paddling like crazy to get them across, okay? Keep it smooth. Sometimes we need to take a deep breath. You know, when you smile, it tricks your body into happiness. Keep smiling, take your time. If you do have to put them on hold, say, oh, certainly, I'm assisting another guest at this time. Um, May I ask you to hold? It could be a few moments, or if you prefer, I'll call you back. And then be hardly articulate, avoid slang and excessive phrase fragments. Yep, yep. Alrighty then. Well, we're fixing to check, see if we got any appointments for you. Make sure, I mean, this is all pretty easy to me. If you work at a luxury resort, I mean, I think we know these things. Be polite, have a gracious tone. Yes, we do have an appointment. Yes. Do you want to book it? Okay. We look forward to welcoming you. Is there anything else I can assist you with today, Mr. Kennedy? All right. So that would be, of course, the opposite. I think we all know not to do that. Written communications must be personalized. So to me, maybe not to you, but the Forbes criteria is not really that hard to hit. So we're going to blow that out, and I'm going to share with you things that will help you fulfill the Forbes criteria, but also to exceed it. Now, we also have AAA, and more recently, new on the scene, Michelin. Ooh. Michelin 1, 2, 3 keys for hotels. They have something like 2,600 resorts around the world, including proudly our client, Roundhill Hotel and Villas in Mobay, that are Michelin rated already. Maybe some of you are as well. So we're going to reach even higher. Opening greeting, typically a welcoming remark with your brand name, the brand name either of your hotel, but probably your hotel and spa. Some of you have a spa brand within the hotel. Your name and an offer to assist. Pretty basic. Use, but do not overuse their name. I love to talk about this when I'm dealing with my Forbes rated hotels. Make sure we do not Mr. Kennedy someone to death. Okay, Mr. Kennedy, certainly, Mr. Kennedy, we do have an appointment available, Mr. Kennedy, and would you prefer a male or female therapist, Mr. Kennedy? And Mr. Kennedy, with your credit card number, and Mr. Kennedy, let me make a few suggestions for you, Mr. Kennedy. I'd rather be called Sir or Doug at that point than to be Mr. Kennedy to death. So pick your spots to make sure you fulfill the Forbes requirement without being excessive. And it's not just about the Forbes requirement or your brand requirement, it's about being authentic and genuine, okay? Now, speak with energy and enthusiasm, articulate, and at a nice moderate pace, slightly slower than you would in person. When you're talking on the phone, we want to make sure to slow down our pace. So right now you can see me, okay, unless you're listening to this on a podcast on Spotify or any of the other podcast channels that we're on. You can see my mouth. You probably, like me, you may have started to realize how much you read lips when in the COVID area, we all had to wear a mask and you couldn't see their mouth move anymore. We all read lips a lot. When you're talking on the phone, they cannot see you so slow. Plus, what are they doing? They're highly distracted. They're probably driving or walking down the street or disciplining their child or cooking dinner. So they're highly distracted. Slow down our pace a little bit to around the pace that I'm talking about now, slightly slower than you would talk in person. Make sure we articulate. That means to fully formulate each word before we say the next word. Don't be lazy in our language. Yes, we do have some appointments available for you. Did you want to come at 2 o'clock or at 3 o'clock? Okay, so formulate our words and be excited and enthusiastic when you describe these amazing treatments and therapies. Now, written communications, you may want to screen cap on this one. This is almost like a little template. Let me actually click them all out for you, okay? So, sorry, let me go back. Personally introduce yourself. When you receive, now I say written, I'm not talking about a handwritten correspondence. I don't think you write letters anymore, but we do send texts, and some of us, and we send a lot of emails from the spa. So when you respond, hello, this is Douglas here from our in-house spa team at the Riverstone Resort. Paraphrase and restate and react to the details. It's wonderful to hear about your plans to visit with your sister, your mom, your husband, your wife, your daughter who's now adult for her first spa experience now that she's 18 or 16 at most spas. So introduce yourself, paraphrase and restate and react. How amazing, how wonderful that you're doing that for your friend. Answer their question, but don't just answer the question and say bye-bye. Let's then proactively offer helpful, relevant details, okay? Also a Forbes standard, but also a great thing to do from a hospitality standpoint for a first impression, from a sales standpoint to get more money and keep our therapists busy. Recommend, suggest other treatments and services, and we're gonna get into this part of it later in the class, in our webcast today, and provide that personalized offer of additional assistance. But I wanted to throw this out there as a little template if you want to do a quick screenshot, if it's helpful to you. Then when we put it out there, when you respond to an email, don't just answer a quick question, give a thorough response. Again, it's also important for your rating services, but it's important for service. All right, so now I'm going to introduce a concept that I call loop it back listening. This goes with slowing down our life and being present. You know, it's very hard to be present in today's world. Even when you're having dinner with your loved one, your families, you know, and those of us who are parents, we're like, get off your phone. And then sure enough, we find ourselves sneaking a look at our phones at dinner. Our minds are so tricked into the TikTokization of our sense of time, like the 20-second attention span. I don't know, maybe TikToks are even less than that. Slow our life down, be present with people. But let's bring it back to sales. I don't want to just get up on my horse and do a whole thing on how we should all slow down in life. But this technique is actually, I learned about from personal development articles for today's world, and I found loop it back listening to be very, very important in my life outside of my work life. So we're going to talk about loop it back listening and conversational questioning together to have a present, heartfelt conversation. That makes us sound more conversational and less transactional. Hi, I'm thinking about making a reservation because it's going to be our honeymoon and it's my first time. I'm traveling there with my wife and it's our first time ever getting a couples massage. Oh, very good. Congratulations. What are your dates? What date are you traveling? What date are you looking for? You want to book an appointment? Be conversational. So here's loop it back listening. Basically, all you have to do is pause after they respond and wait for them to say something more. Okay, so let me give you a couple of examples. So, what brings you to the spa for these dates? Now, some of you may have a criteria. We have our KTN call flow for spa. In fact, why don't we just share it to anyone who requests it? Send me an email at the end of this. We'll send you our KTN core criteria. Many of you already have that because you're already clients. It's basically a call flow that shows us the dance moves in a conversation. But one of the things we want to do, so in other words, you probably have this in some sort of standard or script, what we call a call flow. What brings you to the spa at this time? Oh, just a girl's getaway. Don't just move on. Oh, a girl's getaway. Very good. What are the dates? Slow down and respond. Oh, a girl's trip. A girl's trip. Now, I'm not saying we want to use phrase fragments like Forbes doesn't want, but we say, oh, wonderful. A girl's trip. That sounds fun. That's when you get the real story, ladies and gentlemen. Well, actually, one of our friends just got divorced, so we're all taking her away to cheer her up. And now we can do one of two things. We can go, oh, or oh, and use those wonderful human sounds that make us sound authentic. Okay, example 2, what brings you to the spa for those dates? Your standard criteria question. Just a short visit with my sister-in-law. Oh, very good. What are your dates? What do you want? No, just respond and be present. Now, that sounds fun. Well, actually, it's her birthday and my brother is deployed overseas in the military right now. And now we can go, oh, how wonderful. And maybe, just maybe, you have a brother or you have a sister in the military, and you can relate to how hard it is to be away from loved ones on such keynote, or someone who travels on business. Okay, out of the last, let's see here, got to make sure I get this right. 19 years of being married to Kathy. I think on her actual birthday, I've probably been home maybe 5. Fortunately, she's very understanding that we celebrate on the weekends, but it's hard to be a traveler. It's hard to be away, and you maybe actually feel something when you hear this. Okay, that's loop it back listening. Let's talk about conversational questioning. Now, and we know because we do spa, telephone, mystery shops. You can engage us to mystery shop your spa, see how you're doing now. You can also engage us to mystery shop your spa and make sure you improve. As looking at my list, quite a few of you are doing here today. Thank you to, I'm not going to name names on that one, but we're going to help you. But if we have not trained on this topic area, and if you've not trained on this topic area, chances are good your team may only be asking inventory search questions. For our frontline spa reservations team today, do you ask conversational questions? I hope so. And many of you very well might, but the inventory search questions is what treatment do you want? What day are you coming? What time of day? No, what day are you coming? What treatment or therapy? What time? And do you have a preference on a gender? So conversational questions go beyond that because we're searching our inventory of appointment openings. Conversational questions help us determine the story behind the caller's plans, because there's usually a reason when someone treats themselves. Now, you do have your spa regulars. They come every week or every month for their facial, or maybe they have actual specific needs, a back injury they're recovering from, or a skin condition. But most people have a story So this is a chance, if we uncover that story, to provide genuine, authentic, personalized conversational experiences. And those of you who are rated by Michelin, AAA, Forbes, or your brand, sometimes the hardest criteria to hit is a genuine, authentic connection. That's how we do it, by asking questions, looping back in our listening technique, and being present. Okay. So, are you visiting for any special occasion? Are there any issues or concerns your therapist should be aware of? And are you familiar with this treatment name? May I tell you a little bit more about it? Okay. So these are just some examples of questions we can ask them besides what we need to find the date, the time, the treatment, and the therapist. Okay. Now, allure and entice, as opposed to just listing, informing, and notifying. The Forbes standard again here is a great starting place that our staff can knowledgeably, clearly, and unpretentiously describe treatments and their benefits so the guest knows exactly what to expect. That's a lot of words, but to me, it's fairly simple. Okay. So we want to be able to be clear on what they're getting, and I'm not really I don't know, the unpretentiously, I guess, is a way, is a word. It's hard to imagine that people would be pretentious, but I suppose it is an issue to describe the treatments and benefits so their guests know what to expect. But what we're going to look at is going beyond the minimum standard here and to allure and to entice and to attract by appealing to their emotions. So not only will they book the appointment they called about, but we can help them upsell by upselling and cross-selling to other opportunities. All right. If you've been with me for room reservations training, if you've been with me for the training we've done in these webcasts for selling weddings, groups, events, you know this is a common theme of all the sales training that I do. We call it at KTN the just for you. So easiest way to allure and entice others is to be a you seller, not a we seller. Replace we have, we offer with you can enjoy, you will receive. It is that simple. So when you catch yourself saying we, just add the words so that you can enjoy. They don't care what we have. You know, callers are very selfish. They're paying a lot of money to be selfish, okay? They're paying a lot of money to visit our spa and to be selfish. So we want to make sure to use the just for you because that's going to help them imagine what it is they're going to receive. It's going to turn any feature into a benefit of the experience they're going to receive. Again, going back to our standards, and I keep referring to that because I know we all love Forbes and we love AAA and we love Michelin. You want to be on those lists. So when your high-end luxury guests go to search, they don't start out at Google. They don't start out at an OTA. They're going to go to those ratings lists. You want to make sure you maintain that. Okay. So one of the things they're requiring is that you focus on benefits. The word you is if you use the word you're just about assured that you're tying the feature into the benefit. Okay, so you can enjoy, you can take advantage of your sister, your mom, your husband, your wife. It will really enjoy this. And then I actually like leading with that word imagine. Okay, imagine yourself might even be a technique you could use, but at least be a you seller, not a we seller. We offer, you can take advantage of, you will receive. All right, so that should be an easy one. Now the next one is a little bit hard and it may require a little bit of homework, okay? And that is to use visually and emotionally descriptive language that is befitting of the spa and wellness experiences that we're selling, okay? So overcome that habit of overusing the same, what I call vanilla descriptors. It's nice, it's great, it's relaxing. It's really nice, it's really great, it's relaxing. And if you have not been trained, if you have not been taught on this concept, then it's not your fault because this takes a lot of work to make sure that we can sell an overall experience. All right. So we have to work leaders today that are on the call, have you done work to help your team expand their working vocabulary of phrases and words they can use habitually so they're not picking up a piece of paper or scrolling down and say, oh, this treatment is an immersion therapy and a hydroponic with salt infused. They have to flow. It can't be choppy, so we have to work at it. That's why I say working vocabulary, words that flow very easily for us, all right? So think about other parts of our wide world of hospitality. If you work as a server in a fine dining restaurant, they actually are the best at this concept because they work at mastering that culinary language that's befitting of their chef's artful concoctions. They actually have the pre-shift lineup where they practice and they do tastings to describe tonight's dinner. We have a lot of people selling spa treatments that have never had those spa treatments. They've never even been trained on those spa treatments. So make sure, ideally, you've had it, but if not, at least you'll have a concept of it. Now, some of you actually have people that have evolved into being a therapist and you work both jobs. I know that happens at a lot of my clients. I'm thinking back to you, Riverside, and my time with you. But just as the wait staff works at this, so should we help our spa reservation staff work on the wellness language befitting of those experiences so we can help people imagine what they're going to receive, okay? So when you describe, when you look at your menu of your spa treatments and people have questions, don't make those culinary delights sound like fast food menu. No, we want to be the fine dining of the spa treatments and therapies. You think about it, yeah, the food you actually put in your mouth, but a lot of the food is the texture, the aroma, the visual appeal, not unlike the visual appeal of the spa, the aroma of the treatment or therapy, or the actual infusion in the spa. So this is an area to work. Use descriptions that allure and entice. Don't just list, inform, notify how long the treatment is and the mechanics of what that treatment or therapy involves. So here's another resource for you. If you want to do a screenshot, this is some work that we've done with some of our clients to list words that can help you. Hopefully these will become our working vocabulary. Also, a suggestion, you may go to your websites or your spa menus where you've had professional help developing those descriptors, print those out, take a little highlighter, make your own word list specific to your spa's treatments and therapies, okay? So peaceful, heavenly, therapeutic, blissful, pampering, refreshing, serene, soothing, restorative, luxurious. It makes me want to go right now to visit your spa. But I have about 5 more hours of work after this class today. Spice up your menu descriptions. Here's a way to do it to allure and entice. After a full body exfoliation, yeah, I need to work on my flow here of making this conversational. After a full body exfoliation that will leave your skin soft and hydrated, imagine yourself cocooning in our warm aquatherapy flotation pool. That actually reminds me of a time I did do a flotation pool. With the salt water, we actually float on the surface. There's extra salt water there so you don't sink if you're not familiar with that treatment. All right, round in the corner here, a few more for you. Needs-based recommendations, suggestions, endorsements. Imagine how overwhelming it can be seeing your extensive menu of treatments and therapies online when you're planning your time in advance or when you're looking at the spa menu from the guest room, okay? And people get overwhelmed. When they get overwhelmed, they get a sense of choice overload or FOMO, fear of missing out. So the technique of recommending, suggesting, endorsement is going to make her feel like this and not like this, okay? So that's what people want today when they contact us with those quick questions, whether it's by phone or whether it's by email. So refer back to something they mentioned, which, by the way, is easier to do if you listen, looped it back, and ask those conversational questions to start a conversation, and you find out a little bit more about them. Since you mentioned it's your first time at the spa, or your husband's first time at the spa, or since you mentioned you had a back injury, or since you mentioned um, you have a skin breakout, I would definitely recommend this facial treatment, because as you're looking for just to relax and unwind, that is whatever it is you're looking for, I would definitely suggest. And then once they say, you know what, I think I'm going to go with that option. Oh, based on what you've said, I think it would be an excellent choice. And that gives them that reassurance of the endorsement that they literally go, huh. And you have just cured the 2020's disease of FOMO. Because when we buy something, a lot of us have that second guessing. We think, oh, we should have got that. We should have tried that. When you endorse the choice they made, they very often overcome FOMO. All right, upselling, cross-selling, and then wrapping up with secure the sale. Upselling and cross-selling, how does that impact a positive guest spa experience? Well, if you don't mention those additional services, your guest might not even be aware of them, or they might not even take time to think of them. And those who are interested can enjoy an even more exceptional spa experience. So remember, we're helping them buy. You know, we didn't randomly call them up and try to hard sell them on a spa experience. We just want to knock on the door, and I'm going to give you some actual upselling reminders here in just a second. Well, just start a conversation, see if they're interested, and if they are, you know, a lot of people, I don't know what the numbers are, but many of my clients, you know, most of the average spa guest has one treatment, and very often it's the traditional massage. Okay, so that's why I encourage you to look at the total spa revenue per guest visit and try to get that up. The more we can encourage people that are coming there just for the facial or the pedi mani to add in, you know, another treatment, especially a lot of you have a very extensive exotic menu, then they're going to have more fun. Our therapist will stay busy and the spa will make money. Okay, so there's many opportunities to upsell and cross-sell during their initial phone call or their email inquiry. When they call after they booked that online appointment, or after they called and made an appointment, and then they call back with a question or to reconfirm, and then of course when they actually arrive. Okay, now I have a whole webcast on the topic of upselling. It is specific to rooms, but I'm going to share with you the techniques very quickly here for the upselling for the spa. And these are, I'm going to explain them briefly, so hold on to your hats. We could do a whole 40-minute webcast just on spa upselling, but reassure them what the experience they booked is already a great option. Mr. Kennedy, we have you all set for your 1-hour massage, and I'm sure you're going to have a very relaxing experience. But are you aware of our other treatment options? Okay. Did you happen to notice these when you made your reservation online, or when you called earlier? Did you think about any of the other options? Would you like to hear more about them? Present availability is a special timely opportunity. We still have a few time slots around the time of your visit. We actually have a therapist open for, again, skin treatment, aquatherapy, special experience. Use rate framing to create value of any packages. We are actually offering a special. Since you already booked a 1-hour massage, we do offer a 20% discount for this additional treatment. Spa managers, are you doing that? Are you using the principles of revenue management to fill in those last minute therapist appointments that are standing there? If their time on staff in between the gap of appointments is going to be lost forever, okay? Incremental quoting approach, you know, it's only an additional $100 or an additional $200 to add this. and again, conveying the value with what they're going to receive. That goes back to the descriptions that we worked on earlier. So I know that was quick, but I wanted to throw that out there. Recommend, suggest, and endorse. Let me give you a minute if you want to do a screenshot, and then we shall move on to our last segment. Okay, our last section, secure the sale and proactive follow-up. Okay, so remember, they called us. Do not be one of those people that does everything perfect in the conversation and the politeness and asking the questions and going, oh, and having that personal connection, but they don't want to ask for the sale. I come back, I do another class for these folks, and I say, you know, you scored really well on all your mystery shops. You got everything right, Chris, but you didn't ask for the sale. Well, I feel bad. I don't know. I don't want to be pushing. Remember, they called you, okay? They are assured of the availability for the date and time of their visit. Have you ever had someone that called or emailed for information and you didn't ask to make the booking? They called back and now you're booked. You know, spas get booked up really quickly these days. So they're going to get the availability. The spa secures another booking. Therapists stay busy and we make money. So always, always, always offer to secure that appointment right after you quote the rates. Now, the key to making this sound friendly, may I secure it for you? Hopefully they're going to say yes. Let me go back to this. May I secure it for you? Do not say, do you want to book it? Do you want to book that spa appointment? Do you want to book it? May I secure that appointment for you, Mr. Kennedy? Doesn't that sound better than, did you want to book that, Mr. Kennedy? May I secure that time for you? Because we want to help you have this great experience, because we do, because we're spa people, right? Hopefully they're going to say yes, and you proceed with getting the information, the credit card, explaining the payment terms, but some will still decline your offer, okay? And in that case, I want you to think about offering to send them a personalized follow-up email with your spa's direct contact information, ideally with your direct contact information if you have your own email and you're allowed to do so. All right, now proactively okay, so that's getting the sale. Now, proactively offer reminders and suggestions. Again, looking back to Forbes, similar standard for AAA, preferred hotels, leading hotels, Michelin Key. They all want to make sure that you offer recommendations regarding arrival time for registration and to enjoy the facilities. But let's go beyond that, okay? Give those insider tips specific to your spa, treatments and therapies and your location and all of the details for their visit, okay? So let's go beyond the minimum standards here. Here's some examples that may or may not be helpful to you, but hopefully it will give you the idea. This is our last slide if you're watching the time. Since you booked the exfoliation, Mr. Kennedy, be sure to wear lots of sunscreen the days you're here on vacation prior to your spa visit so you don't have a bad sunburn. Oh, if you work at a beach destination, you know what I'm talking about. Also, Chris, because you gave me permission to call you Chris. Also, Chris, with the Thai massage, recipients wear loose clothing. Now, you're welcome to bring something of your own, but we always have a attire here for you as well. Okay. I actually like Thai massages. You wear the loose-fitting clothes. I usually just use what they provide, but some people want to bring it. Now, Mr. Kennedy, just to let you know, parking can be a little challenging at certain times here, but if so, remember our valet parking is free of charge, and if you let them know you're going to be going to the spa, they may actually run you around the corner directly to our entrance, okay? And then finally, since you're breaking away from your business conference, Ms. Johnson, I definitely suggest you arrive early enough to enjoy the tranquil spa atmosphere in our pre-treatment area to help you disconnect from work and be ready to indulge. So don't just meet the standard, put some heart into it. All this comes back to if you answered with a great greeting, if you listened, you looped it back, if you made those personal connections, you asked some questions, you actually end that conversation with these final reminders and tips. And at the end, you have made a connection. And they're going to be saying, am I going to get to meet you when I visit? And you're going to look forward, and you're probably going to be one of those people that hangs up the phone. Thank you. Okay. And you turn to your coworker and you say, I just talked to the nicest person. 1,000 miles away, they're hanging up the phone call. Honey, I just talked to the nicest person at the spa. I can't wait to go there. And you make that heartfelt connection. The vibe of hospitality flows. All right. Well, I hope you've enjoyed our hotel spa reservation sales training. Thank you to our sponsors, Track, TravelNet Solution, and Travel Outlook, the premier call center. We hope you join us next month for hotel sales presentation tips for selling to those remote buyers when they don't come for a site tour anymore and you got to do it online. And then in December, specific to reservations, but really good for all hotel salespeople, using the value pyramid sales model to sell the guest experiences. And don't be a rooms renter. Join us. If this is your first time with us, I want to direct you to Spotify or YouTube. On YouTube, you can actually see, I think it's about 32, 33 training webcasts. You can watch them on video, or you can listen to them on audio podcasts on YouTube or on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. We have Kate's training tip of the month. This is just a fun one she did 2 months ago. Kate Line as opposed to Dateline. Kate is extremely talented. We love her. She dresses in different costumes and characters every month and gives you tips, I think, that are relevant for anyone doing phone sales. And remember our core businesses, on-site training. Yes, I come to you personally. I do about 40 weeks of travel. I'll zip out of here in Atlanta airport, fly to your location, present training. I would love to do that. Our team at KTN presents live webcam training. I'm also available to speak at conferences, and we do the telephone mystery shop, or if you record calls, we score real calls. So thank you for joining us, giving up your time to join me live around the world, or perhaps you're watching this webcast in the replay. Here's my direct contact information. We hope you join us again for a future Kennedy Training Network webcast.